What's up, guys? This is John from Team Rhinoki, and I am bringing the next healing video of how-to for Holy Priest. You will probably might have already seen the Disc Priest video I did. It wasn't very long, guys. Um, this is basically just the part 2 of that where I go over Holy. Unfortunately, the video, you'll notice my enchants are still set up for Disc. My healing add-on is actually still set up for Disc, so it doesn't have Renew. If I do the Renew button, it actually just does my Power Word Shield. So, some things you won't get to see, but I can, at least show you different things. Like my Words of Mending stack weak aura you see right there. So, we can see different things like that. We're actually going to go stand by the dummy because I have a talent picked out, and I believe that lets me see another weak aura when I take some damage. So, while we're running over there, guys, let's go over the talents. Level 15, again, I picked Desperate Prayer. It's just a preference. People like Angelic Bulwark also, but once again, it's a preference. When you press, the other just does it automatically. Level 30, Angelic Feather. I don't Power Word Shield people, and I'm not really gonna Leap of Faith a lot of people on cooldown. I use that as needed, so probably not the best use out of it. And Phantasm, once again, no idea. Level 45, at the moment, I've used all three. I don't really have a lot of haste. I don't believe I have enough to make Mindbender outweigh Power Word Solace. Power Word Solace, just when you take into account the amount of mana you get, the free heal you get out of it, uh, and then the mastery you get off it, plus the multi-strike you have the chance at, it just really starts outweighing everything else. Now, Surge of Light does actually come into a little bit more of a contender for Holy, because when we do flash heals, you'll see the weak aura for it right there. My weak aura for my Serendipity. Now let's look at Serendipity. Reduces the cast time of your next Holy or your next heal or Prayer of Healing by 20%, and its mana cost by 20%. So, bam, it stacks only to 2, but it makes things go really fast, like 1.3 second cast time, and costs no mana whatsoever to cast. Barely took anything off my mana bar. Let's see what it, for Prayer of Healing. Let's see what it does. Well, it's slow, and it takes kind of a big chunk off, so you almost take half the mana cost off it. In fact, let's look at Prayer of Healing, guys. It's somewhere in my spell book. I just gotta find it. I mean, that bad boy costs 11,000 mana. That is an expensive spell that doesn't heal for a lot. 15,000, man. I mean, right there, Circle of Healing, almost half the cost for the same amount. The best smart heal in the game, guys, like without a doubt. May not heal as much as some of the others, but the fact that you get it on 6-second cooldowns, I know it says 12, but you get it on 6-second cooldowns, and it's dirt cheap. So back to what I was saying, guys, Power Word Solace. Surge of Light, though, does have its place, because anything can trigger it, including Renew Ticks. Apparently Smite triggers it, but, who uses Smite? You can only get 2 charges of it. Blizzard's UI has its own little way of tracking it. It puts 2 little lights on the side of each, left and right. So, next up, guys, level 60 we don't care about. Okay, now, here's what I was talking about, level 70. So we've got Twist of Fate. Which one is the dummy that strikes back? Let's go get hit real quick. Alright, there we go, guys. So right there you can see my Twist of Fate. I just got it procced. Let me get out of this dude's way. Twist of Fate increases damage and healing by 15%. That's pretty much your go-to talent, guys. At least it was in Tier 17 till you got the 4 set. Then there's some debate on which is better, Divine Insight or Twist of Fate. Because it's all about what synergizes with your 4 set better. The 4 set for Holy for Tier 17 was Prayer Mending, jumps to 4 additional targets. So you get a grand total of 10 people it bounces to. That is actually really awesome. Especially when you're just flying Prayer Mendings out like there's no tomorrow. And then the next thing is when Prayer Mending heals a target, you have a 20% chance to gain a stack of Serendipity. Now the reason Divine Insight, let's go ahead and swap over to that, was kind of... Oh, I can't. I'm still in combat. Let me go run out of combat, guys. I got what I needed out of that. So that was just to show you my... Bam, look at that. Almost picked me up with Desperate Prayer. So let's swap out to Divine Insight, guys. Alright, so Divine Insight. We'll see if it procs. Man, did not expect it not to proc. Okay, there it goes. So there's my weak ore for it, guys. So basically, your next prayer of mending will not trigger its cooldown and will jump to each new target instantly. So basically, it's just, oh well, I missed the opportunity for it. So let's try to get it to trigger again. There it is. Bam, and it just bounced right off me, and it's just gonna bounce to everybody. So basically, it was just keeping constant serendipity stacks up, because you got 10 targets, each with a 20% chance to proc it, and you keep your serendipity stacks up, and that's where Surge of Light comes into, because then you're constantly just able to prayer heal the whole raid. And that heal that all of a sudden was ineffective just became super effective, because you just took and cut the mana cost in half. So let's put 2 stacks. You just made it cost 6,800 mana. So really ineffective, or really cheap heal at that point for healing 5 people. So, and Prayer of Healing could trigger your Prayer of Mending again to get all over again. So it was a really interesting cycle you could get going. But normally your go-to is Twist of Fate. And if you're playing Twist of Fate, your basic playstyle is you sit in Chakra, Serenity, or Sanctuary, sorry guys, Sanctuary, because here's what it does. So we've got our cooldown of Circle of Healing. Bam, 12 seconds. Alright. Each time you do something, it takes off it. So you just take 1 second off, and all you do is renew spam. Like I said, guys, I can't do certain things. Glad I have the heals on my bar. But you just renew spam. That's all you do, is it's renew spam, Circle of Healing, renew spam, keep taking seconds off it. You should get like 6 renews, taking half the cooldown off. Bam! So it's 6 renews, Circle of Healing, 6 renews, Circle of Healing. You can see how that playstyle is really hard and complicated, right? Right, it was really simple. And you're just praying people drop below, what is it, 30%, 35%, because bam, then you get all of a sudden you get this 15% healing buff. I mean, what's better than that? But the downside, once the raid gets more progressed, gets more geared, other healers get more geared, you don't need as many healers, they don't really shine as much, so that's kind of the downside. Level 90, guys, I covered that in my Disc Priest video. Cascade took kind of a weird, they reworked how it works for healing, I believe. I haven't looked into it too much. I just kind of took my buddy's word on that. So I'm using Halo also. The good thing about Halo and Divine Star, guys, is they just 100% will proc Surge of Light if you're playing with Surge of Light. They just guarantee 2 Surge of Light procs pretty much. I don't know why you figure Cascade would also, but Divine Star, if it hits enough people in front of it, and Halo, they're just going to guarantee you your 2 procs of Surge of Light. Level 100, guys, there's no question. It is hands down Word of Mending. Because if you're not in your Tier 17 4 set, you're playing the Twist of Fate spec. You're not doing any of these other ones, which means you're just constantly putting out words of mending stacks up through Renew. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3. You're doing this very cheaply and very cheaply and effectively. And that's 2,400 mana for Renew versus the 3,200 mana you spend. I mean, so you get 22,000 healing over 12 seconds, plus, every one of them has a chance to multi-strike, or you get 29,000 mana that can multi-strike on its own. I mean, me personally, I think Renew much better, guys. So, but just we already covered Saving Grace in the last video. It's an insta-heal, not as strong in Holy. In fact, it's 32,000 less for Holy than it is Disc for me. So, really crazy how that works out, guys. Clarity of Purpose, though, heals an ally for 8,574 mana, increased by up to 100% based on how injured the target is. So it can heal for just a tad bit more than your Prayer of Healing, guys, and it heals for 6 targets, like Circle of Healing, and it costs just a little bit less. So it has the potential, actually, to be better than Circle of Healing and cheaper. And I don't remember if Serendipity stacks affect it or not. I'd have to look into that. But the problem with that is it's all dependent on how injured everybody is. That's the problem. That's the problem I see with it anyways. Now, one fight this might actually be kind of interesting on is Gorefiend, because a lot of your healing will come from when you're all stacked up. And this thing has a 10-yard range, so you always want to try to heal the most injured player, and then it will just, whatever it heals them, it's going to heal 5 other people on. I actually might try that on a video, and I'll record it, and if I just like the results, I'll just edit that onto the video, the Let's Play video for the Holy Priest, and just, hey, as a bonus clip, here you go, just to show you. And then I'll figure out also if it works with Serendipity. But as a whole, this talent really isn't that great, because it's all on how injured people are. And when you have things like Holy Paladins and Disc Priests who just straight up stop large amounts of damage and just are constant, turrets for healing. I mean, what can you say? But like I said, Words of Mending, guys, it does so much because of what it is. If you were to play Clarity of Purpose, I would highly recommend Divine Insight, because I do know for a fact that Clarity of Purpose will replace the Prayer of Healing on there and trigger it. And it'd be even better if Serendipity stacks affect it, because, I mean, the cast time, it's the same, but just reducing that mana cost in half, that's making it like a 3,700 mana cost. That's cheap. That is real cheap. You could spam that all day, every day, guys, and it actually might put out more healing. For Glyphs, Glyph of Lightwell increases the total amount of charges of your Lightwell by 2. Glyph of Renew, it heals for 25% more each time it heals, but its duration is reduced by 3 seconds. That's okay, guys. You want to get more out of it, because the whole point of us is to multi-strike. Then I also run Glyph of Circle of Healing. The mana cost is increased by 35%. I mean, let's just take that glyph off for a second, and then that makes it cost 5,000 mana, almost 6,000. So definitely a good trade-off. You get an extra target for 35% mana. The spell is super cheap anyways. So on to stats, guys. You can't look at it from mine, but Multi-Strike is your best stat, hands down. Multi-Strike, guys. You get more Multi-Strike, you get more healing out of Multi-Strike. I want to say it's on par with Intellect, if not a little bit more important. That's probably up for debate. I personally would value it as far as like my trinkets go. Something that gives me a lot of Multi-Strike I would value over the Intellect, just because the whole class revolves around its Multi-Strikes. Next up, it says Haste. A lot of people are going to say Haste. I can't argue with that. I would almost rather take Mastery, though, because your Mastery will almost double dip, in a sense. If I heal you for 30,000, and that 30,000 multi-strikes 2 times, so you get 3 hits out of it, it will take the total sum of that, and then take 30% of that. For me, it's 30%, 29.5. So we'll say 30%. But it'll take 30% of that total sum of the heal and the multi-strikes, and that's what becomes your Echo of Light Hot. So it's not just the initial heal, it'll count the multi-strikes in, and then take a percentage. So I personally like Mastery over Haste, but I can see where Haste is more important in general, especially for things like Mindbender. But it's after Multi-Strike, it's kind of up to you at that point. Multi-Strike is just what you're going to focus on. As far as your utility, you've really got a lot of utility, guys. So you've got Leap of Faith, so you can pull injured allies out of danger that aren't paying attention, because we both know that's going to happen. You've got Divine Hymn, which is not as good as Tranquility or Healing Tide Totem, and nothing as good as the Revival. It's instant. I hate it. It's a love-hate relationship, guys. But doesn't heal. It's not as strong as Tranquility. At least I don't feel like it is. I don't know why it isn't. But it's not as strong as Tranquility and Healing Tide Totem at all. But it does put a 10% increase to healing they take for 8 seconds. So I guess that's kind of the trade-off. You can do it and then throw a quick circle of healing out afterwards, and bam, they 10% more. So, and I'm not sure if other people benefit from that buff. I'm pretty sure they do. So, but I guess that's the trade-off, is the utility it brings behind it. You have your Lightwell guys. This thing is just free heals. 3-minute cooldown. 17 heals on it for Lower than 50%, 23,000 over 6 seconds. I mean, you can't beat that in every 1 second. It's an attempt to do it. So on really heavy damage phases, bam, there you go. There's 23k hots on people. So for 6 seconds, and it's just free heals, and it costs almost nothing to place it. Like I said, you've got Circle of Healing. In my opinion, the best smart heal left in the game, just because the mana cost and cooldown on it are just ridiculously low, guys. Next up, you have your chakras. You've got 3 of them. So you've got Chakra Chastise. That's more of a PvP one. If you have some downtime, you could swap to it and DPS the boss, I guess. Chakra Serenity, which we didn't cover. Your single target heals will refresh, renew, and then it also turns your chakra word, your holy word, into Serenity, which is an insta-cast 10-second heal. For me, it's 29,000, and it increases the crit chance of your healing spells on the target by 25% for 6 seconds. I personally never left Sanctuary, but Serenity is an option when you need that insta-cast heal to pick things up. And then obviously we went over Sanctuary. It reduces the cooldown on Circle of Healing by 1 second every heal cast. And then you get Holy Word Sanctuary, which blesses the ground with Divine Light, healing within it for 604 every almost 2 seconds for 30 seconds. Not really worth placing, guys, because the mana cost on it, I mean, 4,000 mana, not a lot. I guess you can just throw it down if you have nothing better to do. Why not, right? It just doesn't heal for a lot. It's very minute compared to, like, Wild Mushroom from a druid or Healing Rain from a shaman. It just does very little. So other than that, guys, I really can't think of anything else to cover over the Holy Priest. This is just how I play it. This is what works for me. Normally when I was playing as Holy, I was number 1 on the meters. That's also just due to, I've been healing for so long. I just know how to heal better than most, and I know how to do it smartly. So normally in whatever raid group I'm in, I'm number 1 healer on whatever class I'm playing. Very rarely am I actually beaten. Unless I really just don't care and there's nothing for me to do, I'm not going to go out of my way to try. But when I beat people as a Holy Priest, it's kind of funny because it's like, man, you had more gear than me, you're a stronger healing class than me, like a Paladin, and you lost to me. How does that work out? I know it's not all about winning, guys, but I am competitive. I like being number 1, obviously, so... stay tuned, guys. Like I said in the last video, I'll have some how-to video, or not how-to, these were the how-to videos, I guess, but I'll have some Let's Play footage showing what I'm doing as each class. I'm probably not going to respec Regem for being a Holy Priest. That's gold I don't feel like spending, guys. But stay tuned for those videos. I'll probably screw around on, like, Gorefiend and do what I said I was going to do just because, why not, so... Anyways, guys, stay tuned for more videos. I'm John from Team Rhinoki, and I'm out.